This goddamn coming over here.
Keep going.
Making money?
Just lent 10 million 3-month DM to Japan at 1/16th over the market.
What's that give us?
An extra 500 quid.
Every little bit helps.
And now for the good news. You'll have some help with the Dinslow takeover. The bid will go ahead even if it's contested.
I'll have overall control.
For the first and last time, I shouldn't wonder. Yes, you'll have your future boss to help you.
My what?
Daniel Maitland.
The American, he's not due for another month.
Been put forward.
Well, why'd you call him my future boss?
Oh, not immediately, of course. But when I retire...
Charles, I'm number 2 in corporate finance.
John, you're priceless. Dan Maitland's father owns one of the 10 biggest banks in America. Now, you went to a comprehensive in the East End, didn't you?
But I'm still number 2.
I doubt if you will be after Maitland gets here, old boy. Sir Max knows the importance of breeding in merchant banking. When I first came to the city, you'd have been lucky to get a job as office boy.
Times changed, Charles.
Nina, would you come in, please?
Yes, Mr. Makepeace.
This is probably a mistake, but I don't give a toss. I've been the real head of this department for at least a year. You're way past it, Charles. You get the credit for work that I actually do. Now, I haven't said anything to Sir Max yet, but if you try to promote Makeland over my head, he's going to learn about some of your really stupid cock-ups.
I've been with Sir Max for 30 years. No one is closer to him than I. And he'll listen to me when I tell him that you are not fit to head this department.
We shall see.
John Field, isn't it?
Okay.
I recognized you straight away. That's pretty good, don't you think? Considering how long it's been.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I missed you.
You tell me I'm free and then you chase after me.
You want to sit down?
Yeah. How's work?
You know? Work? Well, how's your game?
So Brookings a game now, is it?
He's to a banker. I've got a pretty tricky takeover coming up.
So you'll
I'm
be
going to be spending nights in town again.
Tell me about it.
Not bloody likely. You know, we could see a lot more of each other if you want.
Lucky old me.
Who's the bidder? Who's going to bed with who?
I tell you. Both be done for collusion, you know. How about it?
I don't know, John. Don't be surprised if one day you snap your fingers and no one comes running. Meanwhile, take those silly glasses off. It'd be nice to see more of you.
I am astonished that you still won't accept what I say. What? You know damn well it wasn't my fault. I've had enough of this. I'll ring you back in a moment, Nina. If there's any more harassment from you or anyone connected with you, I shall go straight to the police. I warn you.
Mr. Paley's been holding for you, sir.
I'm sorry, I can't take it now.
He says it's urgent.
I'll speak to him in the morning.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Paley. He's been called away urgently. He'll ring you first thing in the morning. Yes, I'm sorry. Goodbye.
will depart from platform 4, calling at Oxford, Charlesbury, Kingham, Morley Marsh, Honeyball, Evesham, Pershaw, Worcester Scrub Hill, Worcester Foregate Street, Great Ormond, Cornwall, Ledbury and Hereford.
Isn't it marvellous? Bring back the magic lantern.
All right. Here we go. And they're over that last bench. Yes.
I want a real pony.
Oh, do you? Well, you better ask your mum.
Come on, darling, it's bedtime.
And I don't want to go to it. I want a real pony.
No buts. Upstairs, come on. You better have a bath as well. You're a fine old mess, aren't you?
Can I have a pony, Mummy?
Upstairs.
Oh, all right, but discuss the matter with Daddy, would you?
Discuss the matter with Daddy? Where'd she pick that up?
I've no idea. Must be your side of the family, Lola. You know what she said to me the other day? Might you buy me a pony, Daddy? Can she have one?
Oh, I'd be petrified. Anyway, who'd look after it?
Well, you made your mind up then?
I'm just tired of feeling useless.
Well, if that's what you want.
They've offered me that consultancy at Oxford General. This came this morning.
Fine.
You wouldn't read at the table.
I've got another takeover coming up.
Why are these huge firms perpetually trying to gobble each other up?
Gobble what?
Why are they trying... You heard what I said.
All kinds of reasons. Greed, efficiency. Sometimes just for something to do.
Last time I hardly saw you for 6 weeks.
Well, this could take longer. Or less. Which would you prefer? There are two chemical companies. Dinslow and Fane and Browning. Our clients are Dinslow. They're trying to take over Fane and Browning, right? Well, Fane and Browning have got a bloody awful environmental record. Anyway, I shouldn't be telling you all this.
Oh, who am I going to tell?
I don't know, your doctor friends. They both got pharmaceutical divisions and careless talk cost clients.
Oh. So what happens next?
Two chairmen meet in the morning to discuss the bid. Then they argue about it.
Why? I mean, if it's supposed to be such a good thing, why should Fane and What's-it want to argue about it? So it is just a game?
No, it's not just a game. It's my job.
So what about this American boy?
Daniel Maitland Jr.
Are they really going to give him the department?
No, they are not going to give him the department. When Charles goes, I shall be head of corporate finance. Good morning. Oh, God.
Who are you?
I'm John Field.
Oh, morning, John. I'm Dan Maitland.
Dan?
Where am I? That's not too stupid a question.
It's our VIP suite.
What?
It's our VIP suite. The driver brought you here last night, don't you remember?
No. Fact is, I'm a wet palm flyer. Always get drunk to dull the terror. Never works, but it gives me alcoholic amnesia.
Tea?
No, thanks. I don't drink the stuff. Well, this is real fine. Hospitality?
Glad you like it. You've been assigned to our division, corporate finance.
Are you in charge?
No, second. Charles Makepeace is the head.
And I'm the new office boy.
No, not with your pedigree.
Oh, my dad's a big shot banker. I'm just a tennis player.
Yeah, I've heard. Davis Cup, wasn't it?
That's right. You play?
Bit, you know. Bash a racket around, but I wouldn't call it, well, not what you call playing, anyway. Now, look, if you want some breakfast, just ring down.
All right, I'll do that.
And then Sir Max would like to meet you in the office before the strategy conference.
Well, you boys don't hang about.
Oh, we've got a big takeover underway. Two of our major chemical companies. We're back in the winter. I'll leave you with these, all right?
I'll have a look at it.
See you at 10 then.
All right, fine by me.
Well, you've got to have a look at that. We'll take it right through 20. Well, why not 10?
Oh, a real pretty girl told me you were in here. Any news in the takeover bid?
Well, the two chairmen met an hour ago and agreed to fight it out.
It didn't take long.
No. It did occur to me that Fane and Browning were trying to soften up Dinslow for a bid. So we turned the tables on them. Got in there first. Mind you, Fane and Browning are a lot of trouble. Their board couldn't even produce a bullish trading statement with the preliminary results.
Is that Dinslow's latest share price?
Yes.
Well, look at that. So why reject our bid?
The chairman of Dinslow thinks there's something else behind it.
A rival bid?
Don't think so. I've no idea.
Well, what else could it be?
I don't know. Come on. Sir Max has got a Department of Trade meeting tomorrow. We'll have to give him a briefing on this.
All right.
Thanks, Joe.
Good morning. Oh, Mr. Paley. I'm sorry, he's not in yet. Yes, I did tell him. Yes, he'll ring you the minute he gets in. Yes, I'm so sorry. Goodbye. Hello, Mrs. Makepeace?
Two clear signs, sir. This is a clear way. No parking.
I knew your father years ago. A good banker. Solid, reliable, and extremely cautious.
I take it you're not the cautious kind, Sir Max.
I've taken my chances. I started at about the same time as your father, and so far I've kept my head above water. But your father's bank is bigger than mine, much bigger.
He's retired now.
So I heard.
He told me you consult an astrologer.
I do more than consult one. I keep on the payroll.
And does it work?
You must ask my competitors. But if you want to know how lumps of rock millions of miles away affect this planet, I can only say I have no idea. Do you understand the universe, Mr. Maitland?
No.
No, of course you don't. The fact is, even scientists only understand tiny fragments. The world we know is like a campfire in the middle of a huge forest. Some people sense the danger, and they're filled with awe and fear, while others are quite at home in this little circle of flickering light. They're called materialists.
Some people consider bankers to be materialists.
A vulgar error. What is most real to most people? Money. Only bankers know that it is nothing. Lumps of inert metal, bits of paper. At bottom, just an illusion ascribing value to that which has none. Only bankers know how millions can vanish from a balance sheet, and with the right incantation, reappear on another. Only bankers can see through the walls of money.
And you always do what the astrologer says?
I don't do what anyone says, Mr. Maitland. My astrologer is simply there to advise me. He advises me to put you into corporate finance. It seems your chart predicts you have a great future there. But I must confess I am influenced by your tennis-playing ability. A Davis Cup player is not likely to harm our image. Now, that really is most annoying. I gave strict instructions not to be disturbed. Hello? Look, I thought... Who? Of course.
Is anything wrong?
That was security. They've just broken into Charles Makepeace's office and found him dead. My oldest colleague. Heart attack, I suppose. Poor Charles.
I had to send for the police, Sir Max.
You did what? Without consulting me? Don't you realize the publicity could harm us? Yes?
Sir Max, may I come and talk to you, please?
I'm sorry, Sir Max, but I had no choice.
Please, 1 second, Nina.
There are one or two things that worry me.
What things?
Slight bleeding from the nose, mucus in the eyes.
But I think it's important.
Please, please, Nina, will you hold on 1 minute? So you don't think it was a heart attack?
I couldn't be sure.
Alpha 7 confirms suspicious circumstances.
Murder in the mile, eh? It's not often we have one of those. So what do we know?
The victim was a Charles Makepeace, head of corporate finance at Silman, other merchant bankers.
Do you know when it happened?
Not yet, sir. Their security had to break down his office door this morning, so he could have been dead all night.
All right, go and get a car. I'll just make a phone call. Oh, Sergeant, will you tell them we're on our way? Huh? Hello, Millie?
Hi.
Where are you?
Just past Oxford, I think.
Look, turn that rubbish off, Millie. I can't hear a thing. Look, something's come up. I might be a bit late tonight. I just thought I'd warn you.
Okay. I love you. Well, do you love me?
Well, yes, of course.
Well, say it then.
I love you. Look, I'll see you later.
Ever been on homicide before, Sergeant?
No, sir. I've just been promoted from the fraud squad.
Right. Well, you can wipe that grin off your face, because we've got a corpse to go and meet.
Gentlemen, please. If we could stay with the takeover, please, gentlemen. Now, it's interesting to note that Fane and Browning started to think environment, or at least to run commercials about it, just 4 months ago. And that, you will recall, was when the first talk of their vulnerability to a takeover began to circulate. Now, who are they trying to impress on the environmental issue? The public, the government, yes, and of course their own shareholders. But most importantly, one particular shareholder, Heritage Trust, has the largest voting bloc. They will be the key to this takeover. Now, Fane and Browning will try to convince Heritage that Dinslow are reckless polluters bent on destroying England's green and pleasant land. So our job will be just the opposite. To convince the Trust of the truth, that our clients, Dinslow Chemicals, are one of the most responsible chemical companies in Europe today.
Is that the Scenes of Crimes office? Ballantyne here. Can we have someone over at Carsilman straight away? Thank you.
Why did you smash the lock, Jack?
I didn't, personally.
And why was it smashed?
Only 2 people know the combination to these locks. One is the executive who uses the office, and the other one is me. And I forgot it.
You did what?
I've always relied on my memory. I mean, security isn't security if it's written down, is it? Needless to say, I remember the combination as soon as the door burst open.
Right, well, we'll need to have a look at your logbook. Is there anything else you can tell me?
I'm a locks and alarms man. Homicide's not in my line.
Sir, they're on their way.
Good, right. You better stay with the corpse, make sure nobody touches anything. Jack, if you could show me the way to Sir Max Silmer's office.
Kevin, give me the current figures on Fane and Browning.
I've done you a little chart showing you the price rises since closing yesterday.
Let me see. Rises, huh?
Straight up, like a harrier.
Spare me a piece of gum? Thanks.
Charles thought England was in decline. Hated changes in class structure, immigration, things like that. He was inclined to rub people up the wrong way.
What about his domestic life?
Oh, his wife is a delightful person. Very good friend of mine. She was once very successful in business. Oh no, they were extremely happy. Are you certain that Charles didn't die of natural causes?
It would be premature to say yes, sir, before seeing the post-mortem and forensic reports. But the medical evidence points that way.
He was a sick man, you know.
How sick?
His heart was in grave disrepair. I think you'll find his doctor will confirm that.
You said he rubbed people up the wrong way. Enough to make enemies?
No? Yes. I promised I'd tell you.
Well, if you're going to preach the gospel that Dinslow's is clean, I want you to see how we operate. Maitland. You wouldn't be Jimmy Maitland's son by any chance?
That's right.
Ha! I stayed with your father last summer at his place just outside Boston. How do you come to be with Carl Silman?
I was then, but at the New York office.
You'll be looking after our bid, I take it.
No, I shall be handling the day-to-day running. Dan will assist me.
Yeah. Splendid, Mr. Field. Poor old Charles, it was a bit of a shock. Still, he always had a bit of a dicky ticket, didn't he? It was a heart attack, I take it?
Could have been.
I liked old Charles. I told him he was overdoing it a bit for his age. I mean, he and his wife had jogged along together for years. What the hell did he want a divorce for now? This way.
The MD turned out to be a mate of his father's. You should have heard him going on. 6 family homesteads, house in Boston, another little place on the Narragansett Sound. I went on and on.
Do you hate him?
Dan Maitland. I'm bloody well sure. God, they get it so easy, these people.
I know what they're like.
I have to work 3 times as hard as them. I don't mind. Doesn't matter, does it? I don't hate him. It's not the Yanks, anyway. I think the only person I ever hated was that bastard Makepeace. And the jet set, smart set, the nowhere set. They're so bloody confident, those public school ponces. God, they make a deal, and they're so bloody pleased with themselves. But it's just a game. It's all just a game to them. They don't really need it, you know what I mean? They look at me, and they, look straight through me to the next old school tie. And it still goes on. But sometimes, you know, I can hardly stop myself getting out of order. I just want to put my fist straight through them.
Oh, come on, don't let them get to you.
No, you're right. Come in. Your favourite?
Seen the post-mortem and lab reports? Yes, sir. As we expected. Poison was dissolved in the whiskey in the het flask. There was no trace of any other poison in any container in the office. So where do we start?
There's no way of knowing how long it had been in the flask.
Unfortunately not.
You've ruled out suicide.
You read the post-mortem report?
Yes, sir.
Good. So we start with motive and opportunity. Who would have had the most opportunity to put the poison in his flask?
His wife?
Or his girlfriend?
Did he have a girlfriend, sir? No one's mentioned it. Have they?
Sir Max seemed very concerned to defend his domestic probity, a little too concerned. So let's go and talk to the lady, shall we, Sergeant? While we're here.
Superintendent, is it true my husband was murdered?
We've only just established that ourselves, Mrs. Makepeace. How did you know?
I talked to Sir Max. He said he seemed likely in view of what the doctor told him.
Were you expecting your husband home on Tuesday evening?
Well, he was a little unpredictable sometimes. Well, I'd been out all day. He might have rung to say he wouldn't be back.
Even so, were you not concerned about it?
No, not really. Well, maybe just a bit.
That you didn't think of ringing anyone, or perhaps trying to call him at the office?
No. No, I didn't. Well, he was often called out of town on business at short notice. Superintendent, there's something I think I ought to tell you. We had a break-in here last week, on Tuesday.
Did you report it?
No. No, I didn't. Well, nothing was taken. We were going out to dinner. That is, we set out to go out to dinner. And when we got near the restaurant, Charles said he was tired and he couldn't face it. So we came home, and when we got back here at about 9 o'clock, I knew right away there was something wrong. And when I went into the bedroom, I found the window open and the drawers and the cupboards, but nothing was taken, in spite of the fact there was jewelry. And I remember thinking at the time it was almost as if the thief was looking for something specific. And then, when I heard that Charles had been poisoned, I realized it must have been his hip flask. The poison was in the hip flask, wasn't it, Superintendent?
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted him dead?
No. No, of course not. No. No, not really.
You were about to say?
Well, he had a sort of mistress. And she wanted to marry him, and he refused. He'd finished with her, actually. But I can't imagine she'd take that sort of revenge.
Ornamental iron grills.
Is that significant?
Rich men often lodge their mistresses in flats with ornamental grills.
Really? Why is that, sir?
Well, the block is impersonal and minimizes the risk of scandal. The ornamental grills compensate by providing a touch of delicacy and romance.
Very impressive, sir.
And probably pure drivel.
Sometimes useful, Sergeant, to sound more perceptive than you really are.
Who is it?
Miss Tyson.
Yes?
Superintendent Thorne, City Police. May we come up?
You say it's to do with Mr. Makepeace. Nothing's happened to Charlie, has it?
I'm afraid it has, Miss Tyson.
Well?
I'm sorry to have to tell you that Mr. Makepeace is dead.
Of course. 2 policemen wouldn't have called to tell me he'd caught a cold. When did he die?
Night before last.
And do you think he's been murdered? Is that it?
We're just carrying out routine investigations, Miss Tyson.
Sparrows Sometimes Sing by Daisy Wilson.
You knew, of course, that Mr. Makepeace was married.
Of course. That's why I wouldn't accept his proposal. Until last week.
You accepted his proposal last week?
For 3 years, he'd begged me to marry him. Finally, I agreed.
Did Mr. Makepeace contribute to your expenses?
I'm a successful actress, Superintendent, not a kept woman. But Charlie liked giving me money, so I permitted him to give me small sums from time to time.
Oh, thank you, miss.
No.
What made you change your mind about marriage?
I found I could no longer contemplate losing him. Oh, to a lot of people, he was an old grouch. But to me, he was the most masterful and understanding man in all the world. So, finally, I agreed to marry him after he'd got his divorce, naturally.
And where did this take place?
In the country. We'd driven out of town for lunch. And on the way back into town, we stopped at a famous beauty spot to admire the view. Almost as a joke. Anticipating the usual refusal, he asked me to marry him, and taking myself by surprise, I said, "Yes, Charlie, I will." We drank a toast to our future, then we carried on. Oh, Charlie always carried a hip flask, silver, that his father gave him. He kept it filled up with his favorite whiskey. Didn't hold much. We finished it in a few sips, but it was enough.
And when exactly did this occur?
Last week, Tuesday.
Where was the view?
The view?
The view, Miss Tyson, the one that you and Mr. Makepeace stopped at to admire?
Oh, yes. Well, we'd had lunch in Wendover, and the view was about a mile to the south on the London Road. I remember it particularly because Charlie pointed out the house where Daisy Wilson, the playwright, once lived.
Well, thank you, miss. I don't think we need to trouble you any more today.
Well, do you want to know the name of the restaurant? I can't remember it at the moment, but I'm...
It won't be necessary just now, miss. Thank you.
What's the matter? You fancy her, Sergeant?
No. I just thought she was very upset.
Well, very convincing, wasn't she? According to her, she had lunch with Makepeace Tuesday last and he proposed to her. Mrs. Makepeace said her husband had finished with Stella Tyson. Which means that both ladies could be telling the truth. Improbable, but not, I suppose, impossible.
It does make a kind of sense, sir. Mrs. Makepeace said her husband couldn't face a meal out. If the deceased had arranged to meet his mistress and spent the afternoon having a spot of hanky-panky, he might well have been too tired.
Let's talk about sex and corpses, shall we, Sergeant, and try to avoid the euphemisms.
Dinslow's Shelton Marsh plant. And look at this in today's paper.
Another demo?
At another Dinslow plant. Anything strike you?
Mm-mm.
The man in the centre of this photograph is also on the right of the video. Those plants are 100 miles apart. What puzzles me is who could have known about the demonstration in advance to arrange the video coverage?
Do you think Vane and Browning?
Maybe. I want to know who hired that video outfit. Diana?
Yes, Mr. Field?
Yes, could you get me the managing director of Dinslow Chemicals, please?
Certainly.
I think we should take a trip up to Stag Hill and have a look.
Thank you.